Hello everybody, Archie here, another top 10. So, in previous episode I did idea for 10 cards which can make interesting hero power. And because I really like hero powers, because they are like only thing which is actually reliable in the game, then I decided to make another one. This time, however, I don't limit myself to existing card. This time I try to do like my own ideas, because why the hell not? Like, there is many cards which already can give you new hero powers or upgrade your standard one. So why I cannot make suggest my own? Because I'm pretty sure I can do 10 of those. So this time, this is like top 10, and it is not actually not like from one which I like less to one which I like most. It's more like having like 10. Well, maybe a little less, but I don't know, I'm not sure. I try to do like one for each class, and then I want to do like one neutral which give us a nice 10 new hero powers. I wanna say I really don't wanna limit myself this time as much as previously, because there is some hero powers which are like really powerful, even if they like get them need a little bit of try. So I simply expect, like, if I get idea for hero power which is really strong, then I expect like stronger the hero power is, the more difficult it is to get the hero power. So yeah, so I don't wanna like talk about how you get the power, but I just simply trying to be like legit and say basically more stronger power you have, more difficult is to get it. Like, for example, the warrior one, it's pretty powerful, which, and I'm of course talking about with the hero power which you can get from, god damn it, why is always jumping on the standard? Screw standard. Hero power which can use with this card, which is really powerful and beyond a normal card. Also, warlock can get with this card, another very powerful. So there's relatively huge range in terms of how strong hero power you can get. Some maybe just a slightly stronger version of existing power, some can be much stronger, some can be just slightly upgraded power version of the standard hero power. So yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, but one thing which I wanna say, even if I say I don't necessarily like trying like make them legit, and I try keep them about the same power level, if you know what I mean. So yeah, we can do that. So let's do this. Number 10. Okay, so let's start with warrior. So warrior standard hero power is this highly defensive ability. So I've been thinking like the ability new hero power for warrior should be something which is called personal training or just training. So basically, idea here is the warrior is obviously, because that's his profession, good with fighting, and I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be able to train its minions. So how this hero power work is exactly this. This hero power give a selected minion bonus plus +2 on health on +2 on damage. Depends which power it's a weaker one. So always get +2 for a lesser power. If both health and damage are equal, then the minion receive +1/+1. Although this may be slightly weaker than other powers, so I've been thinking maybe it's not like +2/+2, but perhaps +4/+4. But honestly, I think the number here is a little too high, especially if we talk about damage bait, because think how ridiculously powerful warrior can be. If you can give him like infinite ability, give +4 to damage, like you can combine this with a bunch of charged minions, and that can be enough to destroy your enemy. And the same thing with health, like that will be a little too much, I think. So yeah, I think we stay with this first version. So it is ability which give selected minion +2 on health or damage. Always to choose the which this stat which is lower. Of course, if minion is damaged, if it's injured, then its count his not like maximum health, but his current health, obviously. So it's kinda like it is almost kinda like healing, except not really. So yeah, +2 on health or damage, depends which one is lesser, and if they are equal, then it gets just +1/+1 for both. So yeah, training for warrior, because why not? Number 9. Okay, so we have a shaman now. So I kind of like shaman's totems. The only thing which is bad about them, they are like randomly chosen. So for shaman, I have a new hero skill, which is basically upgraded version of his current skill, and it is called totemic specialization. And basically how this new hero power work is like this. If after you apply the card which change your hero power, you can see this like menu where you can see like all 4 totems which your hero can standardly can create. You pick one of them, and this one totem which you selected become basically totem which you always summon. Like you basically lose ability to summon others, but at the same time you always every time summon this one. And also this totem get like twice as high stats. So if you have like fire one, the damaging which normally have 1/1, then you get his upgraded version which is 2/2. If you have the healing one, then it has 4 hit points, etc. and etc. So yeah, it's basically like upgrade of your totems. Like it has the same special ability, but it has better stat, and every time if you do that, then every time you summon that's one specific totem. So the question is if this is better than the upgraded version which already exists, which is with which you can get with this card. That's a question. That's a good question. I don't know, but I think it's still be nice, like being able to specialize in one specific golem totem. I'm pretty sure most of the people most likely do the healing totem. But if there is like a shaman who is like very much specialized on the spell, they may go with the spell damage. I don't know, like the good thing about this, you get basically upgraded and version of your totems. You can basically specify it on one, and this one you basically summon every time. So I think that's interesting alternative for you, which you already have. Yeah. Number 8. Okay, we have a rogue. Honestly, I am not too big fan of rogue special ability. I don't like weapons in general. I know some people do use them a lot, and there is definitely some interesting combinations, especially with pirates. But I personally, they are not really not my favorite. So I've been thinking like, give what I can give something which feels very much low rogue, because rogue is for pretty much assassins. They are not called assassins, but this is pretty much what they do. So ability which I have idea, it's called Venom, and what this ability do is basically effect which you can apply on any minion, including for your own if you want. And what this effect basically do is at the end of your turn, this minion loses 1 point of health. Or let's make this a little more interesting, and let's say the minion loses 1 point of health at the end of every turn, which means you and minions, which means this minion continuously losing health, and it can actually be killed by this, which probably can be effective if you apply it on multiple targets at the same time. But at the same time, it's losing health really slowly. Plus, I think something like this can be possibly a little too dangerous, so let's apply some restrictions. First, the effects are not stacking, so you can position, you can make like use Venom only against one target once, another one have no effect. And second, every time when this target which take a Venom effect is successfully healed, then a position effect is removed. So on one side, it's actually pretty powerful. It is really powerful skill, which in some way work really similar way as mage hero power, except unlike hero mage power, which do 1 damage just once per skill. This one like causing like permanently losing damage, which can make actually lots of damage, but at the same time it can be removed by health. I think that's make this skill both useful and really powerful. And of course the Venom effect cannot be applied of heroes, because that will be probably a little too much, I think. So yeah, Venom. Number 7. Okay, so I've been thinking what I can give Paladin. There's actually surprisingly many Paladins. Many Paladins card, which basically interact with this. So instead of having reinforce, I would like to see ability which is called recruit and train. So it is like combination of this and my suggestion for warrior. So here is how this power work. If you use hero power, then you receive Silverhand recruit, which is 1/1, but he be like upgraded with +1/+1, which means he actually be 2/2. This of course works act like a buff, so it can be silenced. even if I think this is not actually worth it, especially if you have abilities on them like much as you wish. But here is another thing. This is how this ability work only if you have not silver recruit on battlefield. If you already have one, then instead of summon new, you basically add new your existing silver hand recruit, randomly chosen, another +2/+2 bonus, which of course it applies not just for your own, but even for recruits which you get with the use of another cards, such as, for example, what is this card? This one. So this card is inspires someone silver hand recruit. So if you have already silver hand recruit on a battlefield, then he get this buff +2/+2. But each recruit can hold only one, which of course mean this if you have multiple recruits, then it's given to random recruit. But of course this card will be like, this ability will be really effective specifically with this card. But I'm pretty sure Paladin have more cards which can give him like silver hands recruits. Let's see, I'm pretty sure there was some more. Okay, let's see. I know there was, so not like for example this one. So yeah, that is definitely multiple ways. So you can basically not just hire but also train your silver hand recruits, and they will be like much stronger. It's a like two-step process, so that's definitely be like really effective, especially when it's combined with some paladin cards, and also with some inspiring effect. I think that make really good combo. So yeah, recruit and train. Number 6. So as you may know, I'm really not too big fan of like traditional hunter, especially beast. So I've been thinking like what non-beast related hero power I can suggest for a hunter, and I have an idea which may or may not be good, but who knows. So basically it's a hero power which I like to call search for trophies, because hunters, they supposed to like hunt as their name suggests, so it makes sense if they like can search for trophies, something valuable. So basically how this power work, it's basically if you use this hero power and some enemy minion die, then you have a chance to get trophy. The chance is higher the more minions die, and it should be like, I don't know, like let's say 25% per every killed enemy. I don't know, I'm just guessing. In terms of what these trophies are, they are basically randomly generated items which can do something like useful. And of course this is apply only if you kill some living creature. If you kill mechs, then instead of trophies you get spare parts, which after all makes sense. So yeah, I'm not sure how high chance how chance is here, but I think this is something which definitely motivate hunters like don't go to face that much, instead go after your minions, because if you do then you are awarded some useful items. What exactly these trophies do, I'm not sure, but they be like really similar to things like adapt, which is set of randomly generated things, or in case of max, these things. I don't know, like, if you realize this is applied on every minion on a battlefield, that can be actually a lot, because keep in mind one thing, like maybe somebody can say like 25% isn't seems to be that much, but at the same time you can have like some effects which can kill a multiple targets in one round, such as, where is it? Such as this thing can actually do lots of damage. So there is, or this thing, and plus keep in mind this is a hero power which affect everyone in battlefield. So I think this needs like a little restriction here. I don't know how exactly high should be this hero power, but yeah, I think that's actually make a nice skill which will be a little more interesting than what currently Hunter have. It feels very much Hunter-like, in the same time, as I said, it's motivate Hunters use the strategy go on face that much, so hopefully that will be useful for something. So yeah, that's it. Search for trophies. Number 5. Okay, we have a druid right now. So druid really don't have too many like healing spells. Well, there is much, but not much priest or yeah. So I've been thinking like there is actually one element which I wanna have for druid for quite some time, and I actually surprised that such a thing is not in a game already, because this is something which I want so badly. Basically it's a hero power called regeneration, and how this power works is exactly how it sounds. You cast it on your minion, well, you can technically call it on any minion, and then at the end of your turn, or most likely at the end of both turns, can get +1 point of health back, which is really powerful because it can regenerate constantly, but at the same time it's just a 1 hit point per 1 turn, which is like twice in turn. Like, if you want a healing, then you need to be healed quickly, otherwise it's make no sense. But at the same time, you can apply it in multiple enemies at the same time. It is like a useful version of the venom, which I suggest for rogue. And let's say this effect ran out when a minion is healed to completely health, and just like venom, it cannot stack. So yeah, I think this is the hero power which I want really badly for really long time, and yeah, regeneration. Number 4. Okay, so I'm really not big fan of warlock mechanics discarding card, because I simply don't like idea my cards will be discarded, and sometimes it's like a really randomized process. So I've been thinking about giving him power which give me personally like reason use this mechanic more, and it's the hero power which is called recover. And basically how this hero power work is like this: you discover three cards, and these three cards are not just any three cards. It's a card. They are generated from cards which you discarded before. You pick one of those cards, and the card will return back in your deck. Which means you can give it back sometimes, eventually, and you can like, if there is some cards which you discarded before, then you can get it basically back. I've been thinking like make this like a spell, possibly epic spell, and if you like use this again when you already have this power, then you can get like upgraded version which don't return the card just in your deck, but instead directly in your hand, which make it even more useful. It'd be a little difficult to pull off, but at the same time will be really effective card. Unless you have some like really ridiculous, really paradox situation where basically you wanna get hero power which allowing you get the discarded card back, except you can do it because that card been discarded, which will be like the most ridiculous thing which ever can happen you. But hey, that's the risk which you always have with a warlock if you wanna try and discard cards. So yeah, but I think that will be really useful card for warlock. It will be like interesting mechanic for him, which to me give at least a little bit of reason actually discarding card, because like I said, I am not too big fan of this feature right now. So yeah, recovery.
Number 3.
Mage. I have actually a really interesting suggestion for mage new hero power, which be like really magical one. And it is basically hero power, which on a first looks don't seems to be like super powerful or super useful, but it's basically power which is called mana store. And basically how this power work is you basically generate 2 points to basically extra crystals, which are shown not your traditional crystal bar. They are somewhere like possibly above the portrait of your hero, somewhere near the, or possibly maybe even like on a button for hero power, I don't know. But basically what this hero power do, it's standardly use 2 mana points, 2 crystals as every time if you use crystals, and store them in the form of like energy. Later, if you are low on mana, if you start like using your spells and you're low on mana, then you can continue to cast spells, summon creatures, but instead of using mana on your typical crystals, you start storing mana, which, as I said, really don't seems to be on a first look like anything special, but at the same time this ability give your mage like ability being like extremely efficient with your mana with your mana. You can basically store mana which you don't need right now and use it for later. It will be like really effective if let's say you are second turn and you don't have any card to play. Like the lowest card in your hand is card which costs 4 crystals or 5, okay? And obviously normally you can use this like in turn 5. That's not good. So if you have a mana store ability, then you can store 2 points of mana which you have accessed in round 2, and the next turn you have 3 crystals as your standard crystals plus 2 more crystals which you store in the previous round, and you can like play this 5 cost card like early. This better be like some really low cost hero effect which you can get really early, because otherwise will be not as much useful. So as I said, on a first looks, these don't look like anything super useful, but in reality it is, because it's giving you basically ability to better like manage your card. Like imagine like you are like in a situation where you have like tons of minions on a board, and you right now you don't have any reason to like cast any spells or do anything, so you can like sort of like recycle of your unused mana and store it for later. And then let's say your enemy like throw on the board something really powerful, and in a normal situation you can be like, okay, I have two options. I can either like sacrifice lots of my minions and lose them in order to destroy this thing, or I can use all my mana, but this, if I do, then I no longer have like anything, any mana to use. But if you have some supply from previous turns, it can give you some additional options. It gives you like ability, much better mana management, and as I said, on the first looks, this don't look like anything special, but I think will be a really cool hero power and will be eventually actually pretty useful. Because if you have like, or you can have like situation where like you have, let's say you have like 7 mana, and you have like creature, you play creature which costs 5 mana, which means you are like 2 mana crystals left. Except even if you can still use 2 crystals, then the problem is you don't have anything which costs 2 crystals. You have things which cost more, so you can basically recycle this and use this in the next turn. So as I said, it's make you more efficient. It don't necessarily make you stronger, but it's make you more effective, efficient with your mana. And I think this ability feels very much like a mage. You can be like, don't waste any crystals at all. So yeah, I really have this idea in my head for some time, and I begin this thing like how well this can work in actually game, how effectively this can be used, because this can give you some like option do things which you cannot do before. Yeah, it's a little tricky imagine, but I think this will be actually interesting skill.
Number 2.
Priest. Okay, I'll be really simple with the priest. With the priest, I'm actually surprised that priests have no anything like some sort of blessing here. So I wanna do like upgraded version of standard level here and make like a blessed by light or something like this. It's basically hero power which still restore 2 points of health like always, but at the same time minion receive +1/+1. I think that's like really nice thing. It's probably be a little too strong possibly, because that's basically like +3 health, like +2 or restored and +1 extra. I don't know, I'm not sure. Who knows, like, but somehow for some reason I really like idea of this card. I really can explain why, but yeah, blessing of light or something.
Number 1.
Okay, and finally we have a neutral hero power. So I have idea for this one in my head for a really long time, which is the reason why I place it as a number 1. I really don't know how to explain this power, but it's work kind of like this. It's actually work slightly similar to warrior hero power, except it's same time a little different. So basically, if you use this hero power, you basically generate this sort of like charge, which is visible like similar fashion like armor, except unlike armor, it's slightly different thing. At the end of your turn, you lose 1 point of charge, and this charge do 1 damage some randomly chosen enemy target on board, including enemy heroes, obviously. The one thing which is actually interesting here, there will be like opportunity for many cards which can interact with this. For example, you can have like cards which, if you have enough charge, then the card will actually drain some of this charge and activate some additional ability. But at the same time, you can also have like cards which giving you even more charge than you can have with your like hero power. So that's giving you some additional options. I think that will be like interesting ability. Of course, you can have like some cards which can eventually like upgrade this hero power even more and like change like a way how it's working. You can, for example, say like if you already have one, instead of giving you like 2 damage, like 1 damage to randomly choose target, instead do like some heal, some friendly target, or I don't know. There's definitely more options here. So as I said, they could be like some cards which generate this charge, cards which using this charge. There's multiple different things which can be done with this. I know this is a little difficult to explain and show or demonstrate or explain. I know it's a little weird, but I think it's kind of something a little more interesting. Like there will be this like integration of your hero power with your basically cards. So you can or you can do like something like let's say you can do something like this. Let's say they could be like this hero power can do this charge can do even other things, such as, for example, every time if you have charge, then when you play, let's say, Battle Cry card, then you used X number of points of charge, which caused your Battle Cry card activates Battle Cry twice. So it is basically like you can summon effect of Brand Bronzebeard at will. Basically, if you have X number of charge and you summon your hero power, then it's so many charge consumed in process, but at the same time it's activate its Battle Cry twice. Or you can do same thing with the death rattle effects, or you can have both. So this can effectively interact. You even don't need like generating like some new card which have some specific interaction with this. Instead, you can say like the old cards interact with this as well. So that will definitely like giving you so many options in terms of like how you can make your deck. You can be really creative with this, and I think that would be probably best thing if this sort of like charge effect can like interact with some existing card already. That I think is like super ability, because you have hero power which can effectively support pretty much any strategy which you choose to do, which I think it's pretty cool idea. So there is definitely many options which can be done with hero power such as this one. So yeah, so I think I'm done. That was lots of fun, at least for me. and I can stop for today. I don't know what to do next. We will see. Anyway, for now, thanks for your time, and I will see you later.